Right, hey guys, it's Weston here. So today I'm going to be taking a look at the OnePlus X update, which is version 2.2.0, and I'm going to see if it's made any changes to the phone whatsoever. And I am actually filming on the phone as well, so that's probably why the quality and audio is a little bit off. So I'm going to be addressing some concerns I had, and that is the camera and battery life. So first up, we're going to talk battery life, and I'm actually not seeing any improvements whatsoever. Your experience may be different, but I'm not experiencing anything different to what I was when I first got the phone. So when I first got the phone, I was actually getting pretty respectable 4 hours plus screen on time, and 2 days use was definitely possible on a regular basis. Then a couple of months later, I was actually got a pretty bad drop in battery life, and I couldn't achieve over 4 hours screen on time, and I was struggling to get through a day of full use. So yeah, I don't know why the battery dropped so much, but it did. Then we get to the update, and the battery's actually returned to its sort of original state, and I'm getting around 4 hours screen on time, which still isn't fantastic in 2016, but it's better than what I was getting before. And I can now get approximately 1.5 days use out of the phone. Medium to light use, not heavy use. Heavy use, and I'm struggling to get through a day pretty much exactly the same. So battery life, yeah, it's had its improvements, but it's basically brought it back to when I got it straight from the factory. So next up, we're going to talk camera, so let's have a look at the camera app first. So let's take a look at the camera app now. So you can see not much has changed, and it looks pretty much exactly the same as before. Apart from now, we've got an extra mode, which is the manual mode. So let's take a look and see what's different in there. So you can see it's really logically laid out and really straightforward to use. So all your options are on the right side. So essentially what you do is click on those and you've got your options here. So first one is manual focus. So you can actually really get pinpoint focus on your photos now, and you can get focus all the time. Next up, we've got your shutter speed, and you can see adjusting the dial is really straightforward and simple to use, and it just allows you to get greater accuracy in your photos in comparison to auto mode. Here we've got your exposure next, and this is actually not that impressive, and it just gives you a few different options to change from. I would have liked to have seen better control here. Then finally, we've got your ISO controller, and you can see as you adjust it, it adjusts the amount of light, and you can really again tailor your shot to get it as accurate as possible to the conditions. You've also got a timer and flash control as well. Unfortunately, manual mode doesn't work in the front facing camera, so if you want to really get your selfies looking impressive, you'll just have to use auto mode. So what we're going to do now is take a look at some photos in both auto mode and manual mode to see if manual mode does make any difference to your photos whatsoever. So let's take a look at some samples now. So first up, we've got auto mode, and it's actually not that impressive of shot. You can see it's very warm and it's got quite a horrible yellow tint to it, and colours look a little bit off. Then we get to manual mode, and you can see colours are fantastic and they're much more realistic to what they are. The sky's still a little bit blown out, but that's just me trying to adjust and get used to the manual mode. Then looking at them side by side, you can really see the stark difference between the two, and the manual photo looks so much nicer than the auto one. Colours look better, and the depth of field is nicer as well. Then we get onto this photo, and it actually doesn't look too bad. The sky's a little bit warmer than it actually was on the day, but it's not a bad photo. Then we get onto manual control, and you can see the sky looks more realistic, there's more detail in the trees in the background, and it's just an overall nicer photo. You can see the statue colour is actually more accurate as well. Comparing them side by side, and you can really see the difference manual mode makes. You can see the trees look more detailed, you can actually see the clouds in the sky, and colours just look more accurate to what they were on the day than they do in auto mode. Then we get onto this photo, and this is actually not a bad photo here. I mean, colours are a little bit warmer like all the others in auto mode, but the photo does actually look pretty impressive. Getting onto manual mode next, and I was actually able to get a little bit closer with the manual focus, and you can see the colours are a little bit more muted but more realistic than what they were before, and I think it's just an overall nicer photo. Comparing them side by side, and you can really see the difference. Look at the manual photo and you can see the depth of field is nicer, you've got more of a blur in the background. The foreground image looks a little bit nicer as well, and like I said, colours are more accurate to what they were when I took the photo. Next up we've got a rock face here, and actually it's not done too bad. The image is a little bit soft, but the sky's nicely controlled and not too blown out. Then we get onto this one, and you can see we've got a little bit sharper image. The rocks have got more detail in them. The sky is a little bit blown out, but that is actually my fault and not the camera's fault. So looking at them side by side, actually both images look pretty impressive. The rock face in the manual mode looks a little bit better, whereas the sky in auto mode looks a little bit better. So if you play around with manual mode a little bit more, you could probably get it to look more like the auto mode, but just a little bit sharper. So now let's take a look at some indoor samples. So first up we've got a nice picture here in auto mode, and it's actually done a very good job. So we're using natural light here, and it's actually a really nice picture. Focus is nice and colours look pretty good as well. Switching across to manual mode, and you can see we've got a little bit brighter image. The colours look a little bit more vibrant and nicer, and also the focus is a little bit sharper as well, and the image just looks even better. Looking side by side, and you can see there's a little bit of a difference. The right image looks much brighter, the focus is sharper, and the colours look more vibrant. The left image is actually not bad, and there is a little bit of noise, but it's still a very good image. Then we go back to auto mode, and this is in artificial light, but again the camera's done really well. It is a little bit dark in places, but overall it's pretty impressive. Then we go on to manual mode, and you can see the image is much brighter, the colours look better again, and the focus is much nicer. So looking at them side by side, you can really see there's a big difference. The right image looks a little bit more accurate. If a little bit too bright, that's probably my fault though, but both images I think are really impressive, but the manual mode I think takes it here. Then we move on to the final image, and you can see it's a watch face in auto mode, and it's done a really good job. Natural light again, and the image looks pretty good. Moving on to manual mode, and I've messed up a little bit here, but the image is actually a little bit sharper, and I think in some regards it's nicer than the auto mode. So looking at them side by side, you can see there is a difference. The auto mode is a little bit brighter and the manual mode is darker, but that is my fault. Both images look really impressive though, and I'm actually impressed with how the Oneplus has coped in this condition. Right guys, so that just wraps it up for this video. So has the update fixed the Oneplus X? Well, yes, in a way it has, in a way no. Now the battery life hasn't improved any whatsoever, and I'm getting pretty much exactly the same battery life as when I first got the phone, so there's not been any massive improvement in terms of battery there. The camera is probably where the biggest improvements have been made. The manual mode is definitely a fantastic thing and a great addition to the phone. You can get some really fantastic shots with it. You've got much greater control over your photos, and in comparison to auto mode, like you've seen, manual mode is so much better, and it's a definite welcome addition. So is the Oneplus X fixed? Yes and no. Right guys, so that just about wraps it up for this video. If you've got any questions about this update or anything else, or any questions for the Oneplus X, drop me a comment down below and I will answer them for you. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button for more videos like this coming soon to the channel. So thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you all on the very next video.